with Gravity. We're so grateful for you all to join us. I'm your host, Joshua.
Yes, I am Hannah Williams.
And Terrence Dawkins.
Yeah, and we are a family up here, ain't we, y'all? Don't it
Yes.
look like we just love each other?
We made it to
See
April.
how close we is. See how close we are. Yeah. We done made it to April. Look at that. Episode 4 of season 8. So we're looking forward to another great one, y'all. Today we're talking about family, talking about strengthening family and strengthening those family bonds, which is such an important thing. It's important to have people. What is family? I think about it's important to have people who are there for you for support, right? People who you can lean on, people who you can look to, people that'll have your back. And sometimes we don't always get that in our family.
In our blood family.
In our blood family, right? And you got some people, they go out here and they feel the need to go out here and look for family, and that can be dangerous in itself too. You can get with the wrong folks and end up having the wrong type of family. So what is family, and why is this thing so important, y'all?
Yeah, so when I think of family, I think of the traditional nuclear family of 2 parents and children. But there's also different versions of family. So one version is a single parent household. Of course, this type of family presents different challenges and different strengths and weaknesses compared to a nuclear family. However, that concept of family is so important. So a family shares similar values, similar interests. They have a sense of they have a sense of unity and being connected with each other.
Yeah. I think family is it. You have, like you said, the nuclear core family. You know, like my mom, my dad, my brother, sister, aunt, uncle, whoever that would be in your family. But you have the core base family, but you also have that extended family. You got that cousins that's not cousins. Or you got the auntie that's really not an auntie. So I think I remember her name was, we called her Miss Maggie, but she was our babysitter when my mom went to work. She's family, even though we're not blood related, because she's a part of especially in the black community, we have an extended network of people that we will pull into our family because they help us in some type of way. So Miss Maggie was our babysitter, so she's a part of our family. Or we have, our mechanic. Honestly, like if you got that mechanic that everybody knows, he might be a part of the family because he's that family friend. All right. So I think family is the nuclear family, but also the extended family that is also incorporated into the family unit.
And also, we have blended families. So when 2 families come together and create a unit, that offers different challenges in itself that some people may consider up front. But as you all blend together, other challenges may be present as well. And as a unit, you all are obligated to work through those challenges and work through those issues to become closer. And I also want to say, like, a strong part of your individual identity comes from your family. So your family influences you in so many different ways, whether that's political views, religious views, your diet. Your family influences you in so many different aspects. So it's important to understand your identity outside of just yourself, but your family as well. And really be very intentional. Be intentional about strengthening the bonds that you have with your relatives and your immediate family.
What do y'all think about though when y'all think about family related to mental health? I know this is a mental health podcast. So again, we are a podcast. Please don't mistake us for giving out services here. Please don't lean on us for that. Go see a therapist. Hopefully something that we say sparks something in you to where it is helpful, but also encourages you to take a step forward in your own journey. But yeah, the relationship between family and mental health. Can y'all tell us what that relationship, like, what is that relationship between family and mental health?
The first thing that comes to my mind
brother? Yeah.
is non-existent.
Oh.
And I'll tell you why.
Come on.
Non-existent because especially I'll speak for my family, but I think also in the Black community, we don't really talk about mental health a lot, and especially within the family unit, because I can remember times where my mom would be sitting at her kitchen table and she'd have her head in her hands, and she'd be crying. And as a kid, I don't know what's wrong, so I said, "Mom, what's going on?" She'd say, "I'm okay," and I ask again, "No, I'm okay. Everything's all right." What did she just do? She just told me that even when you're not okay, you're still okay. And that, I understand that she is trying to protect me as a kid, but I also think that they taught me to internalize the wrong messages about how to manage and deal with emotions. And I feel like our family unit is where we're supposed to learn those things about how to manage emotions, learn about how to interact with other people, how to interact with the world, and honestly learn a lot about ourselves. And when we can't really have those key discussions about mental health with those close people that we consider family, then that's when we start to have furthermore issues, and that could go all the way back to how they were raised, what how they interacted with their family members, parents or siblings or caretakers, and it just keeps getting passed on throughout generations. So I think what you're seeing is when you have families that don't really talk about mental health or talk about other things, and those are called secrets, and it causes us to carry these different burdens.
I want to feedback off of that a little bit. I feel like family is our first safe space. It is the first environment where we want to feel safe, where we want to flourish. We want to show other people the good and bad to us. However, if you are in a family where you feel unsafe, whether that's physically, emotionally, in whatever capacity, then you don't have that vulnerability to be yourself, to express those genuine feelings. Sometimes what that looks like is a child that needs some emotional care growing up. They may be told, go in your room, close your door, deal with it by yourself, isolate yourself. That's not a safe space. And then that child can grow up to just form, unhealthy bonds with their relatives simply because they did not have that safe space to express themselves, to be who they really are, and to grow and develop as a person. So what's so important to me is honesty within your family bonds. I feel like honesty and being honest with each other can be the starting point to growing those bonds and relationships with your family members.
Yep. Honesty and communication, because when we have these secrets that we don't talk about, whether it is, honestly, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Let's say we had a family member who did some type of illegal activity, whether that's, drugs, or maybe they did commit a sexual assault or something like that, but it's something that we don't talk about. That is a part of the family history that's had an impact on maybe why they don't associate with this side of the family. Or that may have an impact on why they have this viewpoint about, uncle or auntie or whoever it is, and they don't talk to or associate with this side. So now you have a disconnect in the family, but you don't know why. You just know, I don't fool with you. And that's breaking up the family unit that you have. So when we have these secrets and that we don't talk about, it leaves us with these burdens to carry. And when we have to carry these burdens, after a while it gets so heavy that we don't know how to manage it, because the only thing we know how to do is be okay when we're not okay.
And another point to that is that our family is here so that we can feed off of each other. Our family is here for support. So if we're not being honest with the people that we live in a household with, how can we be honest with other people? Once we get into relationships and marriages or professional relationships, how can we be our most authentic version of ourselves if we don't even practice that within our household? So in my personal experience, that strengthening family bonds looks like showing up as my most authentic self, being honest with the people around me, and growing in that capacity.
Listen, if you are, everybody's in a different place in their walk and their journey. If you are a family member and you got some stuff figured out, you are a little stronger maybe than others when it comes to building these bonds, and you can talk about things. You the one who wants to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be willing to be an example for the others. Gotta be willing to be an example and step up and get your family together.
Yeah.
Get your family together. Terrence mentioned earlier family secrets and holding things in that will destroy your family quicker than anything. Money too. But that will destroy your family. Somebody's got to be there. A lot of times we think about roles in the family, right?
Yeah.
There are roles that exist. One that was always big in my family was my grandmother was the matriarch. Now I feel like my aunt is kind of like the matriarch, right? So she passed that down. When that matriarch isn't there, though, somebody's got to be a leader. Somebody's got to say, no, we're not just going to let this miscommunication stand, because then that leads to confusion. No, we're going to have to get together. We're going to have to talk about some things. Just to be transparent, that was a time in my family when, there was a lot of miscommunication going around, and that was the important thing was getting together. Let's talk about it. Let's have the hard conversations. That's what family is. That's what family is here for, right? Let's have these hard conversations.
And in having those conversations, sometimes it's important to understand each individual's identity. So whether that's their zodiac sign, how does this person just naturally operate and communicate? Understanding, parts of their identity. Is this the black sheep in the family, or is this the golden child? And then also understanding siblings. What relationship do two siblings have? Do all of the siblings have? And just understanding multiple dynamics that can play a factor in creating healthy boundaries and healthy communication within a family.
Mm-hmm.
And don't you be bougie. Don't you sit up there and act like you better than nobody. I'm going to say that. We have to, as family members, because you got to understand something. Whether you like it or not, your kids is going to be around their family, right? At some point, right? So you should you definitely want to uplift those, right, who might be at a place of misunderstanding, who might need some encouragement, because ultimately they're going to affect your kids some kind of way. They're going to affect the family some kind of way, right? And so as family members, we got to be mindful to create an atmosphere, right, where people can feel comfortable talking and coming to us. Right, so that's why I say, don't you be bougie, don't you feel like you better than nobody else, because you really going to turn people off, right? And that's going to come back on you down the line some kind of way. It might be some of your nephews, sisters, cousins, whatever. They don't want to come to you because you're mean or whatever, because you always got an attitude. And, you just have to be mindful of that, right? I just think you have to be mindful of that.
And what I'm hearing you say is something that I wanted to hit on earlier, but it slipped my mind, is that within a family bond, things should be reciprocated. Even though parents usually initiate a lot of changes and things that go on within the household, that love and that communication and that trust, those foundational things should be reciprocated with everyone inside the family. Even it comes down to the family dog. The family dog or pet, they're there to show love, to add some excitement. Everyone in the family has a role to play, no matter the age, but things have to be reciprocated in some type of way. It can't be one-sided. And in my personal experience, I see that a bond within your family can be strengthened, one, by being honest, but also by just reciprocating that communication. If I'm pouring into somebody, I don't mind them pouring into me as well. It's not one-sided. If you telling me, you've had a long day, if my mom came home and she had a long day, how can I reciprocate and make her day easier? Am I going to amplify things by making her day even more difficult? Or am I going to reciprocate some type of healthy energy and lessen that load for her?
Yeah. I think when we talk about roles in the family, I think about, you have someone who might be the caretaker of the family. Right. And that doesn't necessarily have to be an adult. That could be a kid. Meaning the kid has to make sure that mom or dad or my brother and sister, they are okay. Right, so then you have what we call the parentified child, who takes on parental or parent duties such as cooking, cleaning, changing, anything that the parent's supposed to do, but they can't because maybe they're at work, or maybe they're so depressed they can't get out of bed. But you have this child that takes in this step and takes responsibility of that role, right? And then now what happens when they get older? They're so used to taking care of someone. Now guess what they're going to do? They're always going to take care of someone.
All right.
Right? Or they're supposed to be the people pleaser. We talked about that in a previous episode. Or the golden child who has to always be perfect, the perfectionist. And all these different things are burdens that I like to call them, burdens that people carry, things that they feel like they have to do, and if they don't do them, then something bad's going to happen, or they just feel lost. And I feel like when we're trying to create these different healthy, families and healthy connections, we have to allow kids to be kids. I think that's very important. We can't be putting kids in the middle of adult conversations. We can't be putting adult responsibilities on kids. I feel like communicating with kids is very important. Communicating reasons why you're doing things on their level. Now, I'm not saying you have to automatically be like, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is why, but on their level, to a way that they can understand it, being able to communicate with them and be able to teach them lessons, because that's what you're there to do.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So I wanted to highlight some ways that we can actually strengthen family bonds. Some of those look like doing family activities. So eating dinner together. That's a simple thing that families can incorporate into their weekly activities. And even if it's not dinner together every day, designate a day where you have family dinner. Family movie nights, traveling together, cooking together, doing arts and crafts, just doing family activities together that are intentional. Don't do things without intention. Oh, it's the Christmas season, so we're going to just put on matching pajamas. Let's have a conversation. What color matching pajamas do y'all want to wear this year? That can just develop that sense of identity and that communication within a family more than you even know yourself.
Yeah. So and you were bringing up like strengthening family bonds, right? I think
how to do it.
Yeah, I think another one is like celebrating each other, right?
Oh, that's a
celebrating.
big one.
Yeah. Even because we celebrate holidays, but let's celebrate each other, right? When you had a win at work, even if it was a small win, let's find a way to celebrate you, right?
Right, that's so important.
Let's find a way to celebrate each other, and let's celebrate each other on our strengths too, right? As we encourage each other on our weaknesses, I think it's very important. Another way to strengthen, I think, is empathy, right? Empathy and respect. Empathy, when I say that, I'm thinking about, what you're going through, right? And not judging what you're going through, right? But being able to see it from a different perspective from, it's your challenge, right? It's not mine. However I would handle it, I can't put myself in your shoes, right? I've got to love you, for one. And then I got to actually talk to you, right? I got to actually care and see what do you need as you're on this journey, as you're going through this. So showing empathy and reaching out to each other, man.
Yeah.
Reaching out, I hate that.
Check-ins.
Because check in, man.
Right.
I'm not always good at that.
Me either.
So I'm working on that. I admit, working on that, brother. Because I want my family to know I love my family, and I want them to know, friends too. I want them to know that I love them. So sometimes it's that checking in that's really important. Y'all got some? Because I was about to hop on what not to do.
I can feedback off of that. So I think reflecting is so important too as a family. Whenever you all go through something great and large together, reflect on it. And on the opposite end, whenever a family goes through something traumatic together, reflect on it, discuss it, see how we can improve from this traumatic event or even from this very positive event. Two people just got married. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Or somebody just passed away. Let's not just go to the funeral, come back home, and eat fried chicken and let it be. Let's really talk about the life that this person lived. And through this reflecting, the family is able to grow together.
Matter of fact, something just came to my mind. So we talked about, being on your healing journey. We talked about
A couple episodes ago, so y'all check into that if you haven't listened to it yet.
Listened to it, go check it. It was great. So we talked about being on the healing journey. And when I think about that, I think of a quote, because I always give y'all a good old quote. This quote is, you heard of, it takes a village to raise a child.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to add to it. It takes a village to raise a child, but who's raising the village? Let's think about that.
Let's get it.
Let's think about that and break that down for a second.
Break it down, yeah.
It takes a village to raise a child, that extended family that I'm talking about, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But then you have who's raising the village, meaning if we're having, like the quote I told you probably a couple episodes, go check that out too. Hurt people hurt people. So if you have hurt people raising the village, guess what you're going to raise? Hurt people. So it all goes together. And why that is important with strengthening bonds is because communicating these, so that you don't have the family secrets, so you can understand the importance of mental health, so you can understand the importance of having these strong relationships, so you can go do these activities together, so you can check in on each other, so you can show people that I care about you. And I want to create a safe and secure environment for you. Because that's all we want. We want a safe and secure environment. If you can provide that for kids, or you can provide that for your significant other, they're going to show up for you and they're going to be authentic.
Yes, and I think one major factor to this is appreciating someone else's input, no matter someone's age, So if you all are planning something out, and planning and processing things are so important as a family. But if you all are planning something important out, value everyone's opinion. You might not implement it. If the 5-year-old, the youngest child in the family, has something to say about something you all are planning or wanting to do as a family, appreciate it, value it. Don't brush it off and say, "Oh, that wouldn't work. That doesn't matter." Or even on the opposite side, the oldest person, the elderly person, sometimes we tend to undervalue what they have to say because we're in our prime and all energetic. But value everyone's opinion and process it.
They brought you here. That's what I'm saying. They brought you here, so you going to accept their opinion?
Yeah, they like, that's just Granny over there just talking.
Granny knows some stuff. Yeah. Granny knows some stuff. You better listen to Granny. But what I heard from that was people want to feel included, right? Where you don't include or process with your family, then people feel excluded, and then they want to be like, but they will start to isolate themselves. They'll be like, I'm different. I'm the outcast. That's another role.
The outlier.
I'm the outlier, right? The scapegoat. That's what they call it too. So I think that's very important.
So what I think what's important too is what not to do. What not to do, y'all. What not to do. One thing is assume. Yep. Assume like you know everything. Like you know about somebody's situation. Y'all might need to talk about it so you really get clarity. Assume that you know what somebody was talking about when they were saying something and you took it the wrong way. Right? If we're a family, we love each other. We need clarity so we can move forward in the same direction. Don't be shaming people out here. We all done been through stuff, right? Who are you to shame me because what I done been through, right? Or to expose me, right? For what I'm going through or what I done been through. That's not family-like. Provoking people to anger, so right. It's something you need to work on if you out here provoking people, right? And but I've seen it done. I've seen grown people provoke children, right? And that's not family-like. And leaving room for ambiguity. I think is no room for uncertainty with what we're saying. Like, let's be intentional about what we're saying. Let's be direct, because because things just get jumbled up in there, right? When you leave room for people to think whatever. Right. Let's say what we mean. And but yeah, I think those are some of the things what not to do.
And I know we're wrapping up soon, but if you are in a family where some of those bonds have been dismantled, it's not too late to strengthen those bonds. It's never too late to strengthen a family bond. The only time when it's too late is if a person has passed away. Then it's too late. We have those regrets. Oh, I should have said this to this person. Oh, I've been holding this grudge against my relative for years, and now they gone and dead and gone. God forgive me. Let's not let it get to that point. Let's make those changes now. Our Black community needs strong families. We need strong families so that as a collective we can grow as a race, as a culture. So it starts within the household.
Yeah, I love it.
Which camera am I at?
All of
them. They both looking at you, bro.
They both looking at me, but right here. A lot of people will say, "Well, I don't know how to start. I don't know what to say."
Okay.
It all starts with one person making one phone call, one visit to start one conversation. That's all it takes, just one. And that one conversation could just be exactly how you feel. I have been feeling neglected because. I have been feeling frustrated because. That's how you start it. You just tell that person how you've been feeling and why. And that can open up the room for discussion. And hopefully y'all can have that discussion to build strengthening those bonds.
And guess what? Some people are not always emotionally mature to handle those conversations. So what do you do after that?
After that, and again, that's a good question because people say, well, I went to go talk to them and they didn't respond how I wanted them to respond. But then I asked them the question, did you go talk to them for them or did you go talk to them for you? If you went to go talk to them for you, it doesn't matter how they responded. You gave them the opportunity to strengthen the relationship. If they don't want that relationship to be strengthened, that's their problem, not yours.
Let's go. Let's go. And you should feel good about that.
Man, we just here speaking with gravity.
Yeah.
That's all we doing.
Yeah.
That's all we doing.
Shout a little word.
Go communicate with your family, man. Communicate that hurt, that love, everything.
Everything.
Communicate it.
And I understand that it can be frustrating, can be scary to have these conversations, but these conversations must be had. If you want to have those bonds and you want to create those lasting relationships within a family, within your own relationship, because that could be another part of your family, you have to have these conversations in order to do that.
Family is everything.
It's everything. I think that's good right there, y'all. I think we're going to go out with that. Find us on all platforms, Speaking with Gravity. Speaking with Gravity
68.
Podcast. Yeah, episode 68. You know, on social media, we're at Speaking with Gravity. You find me at Garvey, the number 4, prayers.
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Hannah Elise, 2_.
And find me at Instagram at Terrence_Dawkins.
We'll see y'all next time.
Next time.